Hi.
Привет.
I'll prepare my environment and let's wait for other people get joined. I have something to show you. Seems still a lot of people on vacation.
Yeah, actually, in
Hopefully
Warsaw as well.
Yeah, hopefully September will be better. All right, let's start. I have a lot of news to share. I just need to add this tab to share. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Thank you. Welcome everyone, and glad to see you on bi-weekly Cozystack community meeting. I will post a link to this document into chat. I repeat that we have Telegram group and Slack channel in official Kubernetes Slack. If you have any questions, feel free to join and ask them. We probably don't have any new members on this meeting. Please also add yourself in attendees list and few news from Cozystack project and actually CNCF. Thanks to CNCF, we're starting our own conference that will be virtual event in December, in 3rd December. We are looking for people who would like to share their experience using Cozystack and related technologies. The site is running already and CFP is closing. We are looking for submissions till September 14. Please feel free to submit your talk if you have something to talk about. If you have no speaker experience, don't worry, just let us know. We will help you to preparing this presentation. Maybe if you have some interesting stories or something unrelated to Cozystack, but for example, some technologies which you use or get used to use, just send your request and we will review that. Also, lately the new presentation was published. It's called Platformize It. And also we filed it to CNCF website. It is scheduled to 4th September, but you can already see this presentation under this link. this presentation is more about how Cozystack API was built. Actually, I put more ideas about that you don't have only one single mechanism to extend Kubernetes with custom resource and operators. This presentation shows how actually we extended Kubernetes API by writing our own API server and how we utilize that in Cozystack. Feel free to see it. It might be very interesting in understanding how Cozystack is working. We released the new version. It's 0.35, if I remember correct. I just did an announce. I didn't put it here. Yeah, 0.35. We introduced Hetzner CCM support. So now you can install Cozystack and Hetzner and have tight integration with Hetzner load balancers. You can freely order load balancer services. Also, there were some changes in Seaweedfs, which now allows multi-zone configuration. So you can set up Seaweedfs to be deployed in multiple data centers, and it will automatically spread the replicas between them. Another thing that it allows you also to have two separate clusters, one for storage, for Seaweedfs storage, and another for which will actually consume and utilize the storage. And currently we have two existing flows. We are working hard on implementing new dashboard. I can demonstrate it a little bit. I hope it is working. All right, no demonstration then. Sorry, this is my dev cluster. I forgot to check if it works before the demonstration. Well, next time. Anyway, some things have done. We finished Helm chart, marketplace. We added additional service for those who don't use OIDC server, so you can use the same token authentication. It's basic sidecar and factories for few resources. And one of the change introduced also in the last version of Cozystack that now all the applications have proper OpenAPI specification. So we have updated all the applications. Now you can use kubectl explain command to see the definition for all the resources. This is actually done by new tool which called Cozy Values Gen. So now we changed a little bit the specification for all the values in Helm charts. That looks pretty similar to what it looks inside of the code. And that way it will automatically generate correct OpenAPI spec using controller gen. And finally, all the resources, all the Cozystack resources now will have correct OpenAPI spec. And this dashboard, which is currently not working for me, it will render this OpenAPI spec and allow you to specify fields to create new resources. Also, a few changes introduced. So we added a few more resources. It is not currently matched to main. It is still in a branch with a new dashboard. But we also introduced two resources. First one, tenant namespaces, which will allow users to see the namespaces where they have access to. The major problem of that namespace resource is that users, you can't actually give the access rights to list namespaces because users will see all the namespaces existing in a cluster. So this way we introduced tenant namespace resource. If user will run kubectl get tenant namespace, they will see all the namespaces where they have access to. If they have no access, the list will not show those resources. And the same thing with secrets. We introduced a new type of secrets. It's called tenant secrets, just to the similarity to net tenant namespace. So same thing here. Tenant namespaces, actually namespaces for tenant, they containing many secrets, and we don't want to list all of them to our users because sometimes they can contain some secret things, let's say service account tokens, which would allow users to compromise the cluster in case if they steal those secrets. The solution was to create tenant secrets resource, which lists secrets which have only specific annotation. So those two resources will help us to show specific resources in new dashboard and also in API. We see we almost finished that, and few topics are done. Few topics are left, so we need to still implement few things until the new dashboard will replace the old one. We need to implement resource map, and that means that we need to find a way how is showing the deployed resources for the user. Let's say if you created Postgres cluster and you specified that you want to have 5 users there, you need to get access to this Postgres somehow. So you need to know which services it deploys and which secrets it uses. The logic of the new dashboard is slightly different than the old one. And in our case, it will be shown as different tabs. So when you deploy the new class, a new application, it will have many tabs like secrets, services, ingresses, and so on. We are currently working on this topic, and the rest things are is to show README page for the application. It is not done yet. And also we decided to rework extra application logic for showing to let users configure such things like Seaweedfs, ingress, and monitoring system, not as applications in dashboard, but as part of tenant configuration. And the second topic which we're working right now is decomposition flow. For now, we already prepared example repository, which would allow you to specify your external repositories. We still need to rework it a little bit, and documentation how to configure and add external repositories to the Cozystack. Unfortunately, our existing dashboard do not allow you to show these tiles for the external repositories, but that will work through the API, and the new dashboard will also show and allow you to work with that. That way, we decided to implement resource Cozystack resource definition. That actually configuration for our custom API server, which have definition which Helm release resources map to custom kinds. So you can actually specify if you're introducing new application, let's say MongoDB, you want users to operate with kind MongoDB. This resource actually does that. The few things left is after reload for custom resource definition. It is, by the way, it is already done. UI support, which is currently blocked by UDashboard, and role-based access control, which is currently unsolved the topic. I think we will come back to the discussion later after we finish these changes for new dashboard and for decomposition flow. That's actually it. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about RBAC in decomposition flow. Which exactly part of RBAC are you talking about?
This is more about the thing that currently we have tenant applications which are pushing few default roles, let's say super admin, admin, user, and viewer. those roles have explicitly specified applications which are supported by Cozystack. But the trouble is, if you're adding your own applications into Cozystack, there is need to add custom role for those applications to let other users to consume it. We were thinking about how can we solve that. I think we can solve that in API layer. So we would like to add different API groups for different repositories. Let's say you have apps Cozystack.io for application repository and external.cozystack.io for the other applications connected externally. This way you can use star for different level access for the user. That was one idea. Another idea is to reconstruct this role-based access control to not have explicitly specified rules for the applications and to have some custom roles which will be automatically built to all the users. This topic isn't solved yet. I think we will come back to the discussion later after we will finish a new dashboard.
Okay, thank you. I kind of got it.
All right, any other questions regarding this? Or we can switch to OpenFloor. Timothy probably is not in this call, so I will move this topic to the next meeting. I would like to discuss one of the feature we are aiming to implement is to provisioning external modules using bring your own host model. That feature would means that you can create your own Kubernetes cluster control plane in Cozystack and get some command to join external nodes to this cluster. The main issue here that we can't use Talos Linux for that, so we can consider other operating systems. The Talos can be used for this because they expecting that we will use Talos control plane. But we prefer using more native approach for the user-created clusters. And we need some more native distribution, which would work the same way like Talos. So this way, I would like to ask community if you know any distributions, Kubernetes-specific distributions, which might be useful for that. The main requirement here is to make them, how's it called? Atomic updatable distributions. So I know Flatcar, Fedora Core OS, maybe something else which is currently existing. Do you know any OS?
Well, I
There
can't
can be
remember
also-
any. Yeah, please.
Andre, there can be also the SUS mini. I think. Wait, how it's called this distribution?
Linux Micro.
Linux, yeah, SUS micro. It's
Sounds interesting. Maybe that makes sense to use more generic OSs. Actually, I really like using Alpine Linux. I think that also might be a good base for this kind of distribution. Actually, I was thinking about implementing model when you have one baked image, and then you can use this image. It will have just kubeadm and kubectl command, a kubelet command inside, and the single thing it have to do is to join to the external control plane.
I didn't got completely to your idea for external nodes. That's mean only nodes, worker nodes, or just whole Kubernetes will be joined to the Cozystack?
Yeah, for now, that would be like additional hosts for the tenant Kubernetes clusters. They can be used different ways. Let's say you can get Kubernetes control plane from Cozystack, and then you can configure your bare metal hosts to be joined as workers to this tenant Kubernetes control plane.
Cannot be controlled by only the some registration process on the independent on the Linux.
This is already done by Kubernetes itself. So only thing it needs to do is to read cloud init configuration and to run kubeadm join command. The rest things will be done by kubelet and kubeadm automatically. I would like to find some unified way. Actually, Talos Linux is fine. I like how it works, but it's very difficult to customize it. So I would also consider to replace, if this theme will work successfully, I would consider to replace Talos Linux with some custom OS, which we will use as base for Cozystack.
Yeah, I understand, but mostly if the customer will have some specific node, probably he doesn't want to replace the whole installation of host services. I think that can be much more critical for them. That's maybe what will be working for them. That's just run some join and then just continue.
That's also a good point to consider. Actually, there is cluster API, bring your own host provider, which works exactly that way. So it generates kubeadm join command, which allows you to join to existing control plane. The drawback of this thing, yeah, it wasn't updating for 2 years already. But the main drawback is that if we would like to provision something like storage or networking on those nodes, it would be nice to have some predictable operating system.
Yeah, that was my one question, that how the tenant Kubernetes and VM will go pass through all this sandwich of the networking to outside. So what is the idea? Will be network adapter exported to this virtual machine, or?
That's also one thing which we have to talk about. So the first idea was to have it in as a single to support if all the nodes have the same networking. I think it will solve at least 60% of the problems. But the next phase, implementation phase, might introduce also mesh networking between those nodes. That could be WireGuard tunnels between them. And additional load balancer service. I had design of the old project for this. Actually, the idea was to organize load balancer, which works like, how's it called? Connectivity service in Kubernetes. So we can create public endpoint, and when you need to get traffic on your worker nodes, you can actually establish connection. The worker can establish connection with this external endpoint, and then external endpoint can push traffic back to this tunnel.
I believe that there should be two options: that WireGuard for WAN for the different cloud providers, and the VXLAN option should be for if it's somewhere in the same data center, because this is a different performance. The VXLAN can be accelerated, and WireGuard is not accelerated at all.
That's true. I don't even think that we need VXLAN here. So in many cases, you just deploy the nodes in URL2 network, and you have direct connectivity between the nodes. The goal is to make it configurable. I think the phase one will have just Cilium. The phase two can implement some mesh networking. Unfortunately, for now, I have no answer what and how this mesh networking will be working. Let's focus on the phase one. And the phase three with this external load balancer is something very futuristic for now. I hope that this project will works, but let's solve the ground problems for now.
Yeah, agree.
I was also thinking about the way how can we simplify Talos Linux installation. For now, we already updated documentation. We just added boot to Talos method, which allows you to convert existing system into Talos Linux. I really like the approach, how it works. And I was thinking to replace existing Talos installation ISO with something like Alpine with this binary. What it does, it just asks you about which disks to use, interface, IP address, and something like that. And then it will download Talos Linux image and just flush it into the device and reboot the node. I found that this approach works very well, way more better than using just KEXAC mechanism.
I have a question concerning this. I should imagine that if I will install, for example, on my hardware, my own operating system as a basic, and then I will just run this utility, I will switch to new Talos operating system.
Actually, this tool is just downloading Talos installer. You can take official installer from factory Talos dev, and you can convert any existing system into Talos, but it will refresh your disk, so all the data will be removed.
Yeah, that means it will be completely new installment or provisioning on this host. It will replace completely the operating system on the host. And that means it will clean the disk and will change the boot or install as in a boot sequence to run.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, that's cool.
We found that it also might be useful for such environments like, cloud environments. So for example, you can put this tool to the cloud init installation of some Ubuntu, and after the virtual machine will be created with default Ubuntu image, it will be automatically converted to Talos Linux. So feel free to use it, give us feedback.
I have a use case because with Martin, we start to have some testing of Cozystack in Košice, and then they provide only Ubuntu. Yeah, and that's by this way he can switch from Ubuntu to real Talos. Yeah,
that's actually the reason. The main pain of installing Cozystack is to installing Talos Linux. That's the majority of issues coming right here. I wouldn't say that I don't like Talos Linux. I wouldn't choose it as a basic operating system for that. But we have so many issues supporting this exact installation method. After you found the correct configuration, and after you found that exactly those options in configuration works fine, then Talos is good. But until you do this, so it's have really higher barrier for come in.
yeah, because many people know to command line, and they are out with the Talos, and that means they probably do not very fast to shift, but the features to be atomic and immutable, that's fine for running the Kubernetes. Replacing.
Yeah, I agree, but I would like to add maybe my idea. I will propose that, that after you install the Cozystack few times, and you understand that you want to speed up that, and that maybe for the half a year that we evaluating, the maybe cool idea is that you have some image, you will boot the first node, and it is automatically spin the you only enter the IP range, and it is spinning automatically the DHCP and PXC, and next nodes is boot by PXC, or you can simply supply also a small image to other nodes, and they automatically boot and automatically install Talos and join the Talos. That's what I feel when I reinstall the Cozystack second time, third time, fourth time. That this is only vision. This is simply idea.
Yeah, I follow you that you will spin only the first master and then split on all set of the.
Yes, it is a DHCP PXC in if the nodes in one segment, it's very easy. Or if you don't have if PXC is not allowed, if some type of the packets is not allowed, then you simply spin the slave a very small image which does same. It simply gets this configuration from master and configures everything else automatically. Automatically takes the free disk and so on. That's actually will, from my point of view, that very quick to deploy the basic cluster.
I had another idea. Yeah, we already have this PXC booting method, and we had interactive installer. So I think in a while we will move this Talos bootstrap into Alm itself to have this interactive mode. So select disk. You still need to select the disk. You need to select the network interface, and for every physical node, it might be different. We need to solve that and ask about simple installation process. I really like how Proximus can be installed. Did you see Proximus installation? It actually allows you to just boot ISO, put few parameters like network, password, and host name, and even email. And then you click next, 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 and this node get converted to installed Debian with Proximus itself. I think that this boot to Talos method would allow you to do that exactly the same way. Actually, you can get any live ISO, let's say Alpine or Arch ISO, and you can just download and run this binary and answer a few questions, and this system will be converted to Talos Linux. That way, I was thinking about creating like unified ISO installation or toolbox ISO, which will have this tool by default. So you just put this ISO into the node, you run one command, and then it installs the Talos itself.
And maybe we can create poll for the bigger community, and because our approaches is different. You're looking for virtual machines, and I'm looking for bare metal. And I don't want to enter in every node manually parameters. I would like to specify the range, and everything could be redone.
I bet this can be done by this project is called Tinkerbell.
Yeah,
Tinkerbell, yeah.
I agree, but when you need additional tools or when you need additional jump box to do something, this is, you need in some ways. If you have only images which will do everything, you don't need additional jump box to spin what is current way to do that in the site. You need to spin matchbox somewhere, and you need to be in the same segment, in the same LAN with the nodes. That's the point.
So you're aiming about creating some live ISO image which will allow you to bootstrap the other nodes through the PXC.
it could will also be node. It will later convert, or you may spin it as master. You will then spin the next 3 nodes, and then you can run your script about boot from and convert this node as well. And everything will go on, and you will have 4 nodes simply. This is perfect part of perfectionism. It may be too complex, but it's simply a point of view.
Anyway, it makes sense to discuss that because the discussions actually putting things together in the mind and allows to choose the right direction. Yes, you're right. So we need to find simple way to deploy control plane nodes, and the workers can be deployed automatically from these control planes. We already have this bootbox application. It is not documented very well yet. You can see it in packages, extra bootbox. This is exactly the thing which allows you to boot worker nodes over PXE. So the only thing you need to do is to enable bundle bootbox, and then you will have bootbox application in your tenant root, where you can specify your nodes like this way, and they will boot Talis Linux automatically.
So maybe it requires more polishing. This is the first ISO. So it's actually close to what you're talking about proxmox. You boot 1 node and do the clicks, but if you have 10 nodes, you don't want to click 10 times on 10 nodes.
Yeah, only 3 nodes who are actually control plane nodes. The rest can be done through the other process of deploying through the bootbox.
Yeah, yes, but if you want to create process more user-friendly, then if you a lot of people are quite sophisticated in Linux administration, but you want to get this distribution more open to users, you need to more simple, more automated, like Ubuntu does with their products. They make them more friendly for the newcomers.
Yeah, I mean, some interactive installer like Proxmox, like Ubuntu has, just to answer questions.
Yeah, for me, it will be nice if you will start for master, and then you will start some service as a PXE provisioning, and that's you will see the all other workers and set up them maybe as a bench of the workers or something like that, and click, and that's it. So it will be installed and provisioning automatically on the rest of the machines. That will be interesting. Something like turn on key. Yeah, that's.
Or maybe additional idea is that you spin such a master node, and then you on all machines Debian, you simply like in Proxmox, you are doing apt install Cozystack worker node, and it does everything, right? And you this is also additional way, and you convert all your Debians to the worker nodes or something like that. This is a simple additional idea.
That can be done through the Ansible or something like that. But
that can be many more than one step process. That's when after the very simple spin up, you can just consolidate the whole cluster to final stable state. Yeah, I think that can be done.
What I just thinking. Should we really add it into cluster management? Should we really add cluster management into cluster itself? What if we will create the single tool for managing various nodes and various scenarios? Let's say if you want to provision new nodes through the PXE, you run PXE or Cozy install, let's say PXE on your local PC, and it will boot the other nodes, and it will find it and let you somehow configure it. So I think it might be some tool which you run locally, not in cluster, because if cluster is broken, you lose also cluster management. We still need to have some backup mechanisms here, I think. But that should be definitely simple to this single point of truth, let's say Git repository, which would provision multiple nodes.
I think we can keep it open, but okay, we start to discuss.
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic to discuss. Anyway,
one more point from my side. So here we are going into cluster management, and I thought about a different point to start about bring your own hardware model. So maybe we should only have a kind of an Ansible playbook that would allow to convert any distribution into a Cozystack worker node.
That could be also
that would be a good start, and it will allow us to check all the things we need to install on the node, to configure on the node, to get into a cluster. And then we can move to cluster management or whatever. But we will have an instrument to convert any distribution to a Cozystack worker node. So it suggests that we start with something like a playbook or maybe a Go binary that will do all the stuff. Just a really minimal one.
First time, I didn't like this idea, but now I already like this idea. So we can cover more steps for installing. Let's say you have example repository with Ansible playbook. You run this Ansible playbook, which first converts existing image to Talos Linux and then configures the Talos itself.
Yeah,
that sounds reasonable. Yes, and highly customizable. I like it.
And that can be first minimal running services, yeah, and that's you can just the phase 2 will be just spin others, yeah, and that's will be the end of the installation.
But still, how can we solve Pixie booting process here? Because before, not all the nodes have pre-installed the system. We could say that to run this playbook, you need to have some system with SSH enabled first.
Yes, that's what my point, that you need playground or Jambox to nearby of the resources.
That could be simple Alpine Linux booted. So in case if you, I really like this idea more and more. So we can say that to install Cozystack, you need to have just Alpine Linux with SSH enabled. Then you run this playbook, which actually spins up boot to Talos and the rest things needed to boot Cozystack itself.
Yeah, that will be at least one running node with the Cozystack. And then
you don't have even to have any running node, so you just run Ansible playbook from your local PC. Sorry.
Yeah, it can be also that you will join to the network and then just control it from their laptop, for example.
Yeah,
well,
cool idea.
Thank you for this idea. I think we can even throw out our Talm and Talos Bootstrap and everything. Keep Ansible.
Yeah, actually, because we a bit tired, because you use Talm for one thing, Talm for another thing, Z for Z, Z for Z, and then go Z, and then go Z, and a lot of, and same every time you do same thing.
Okay, I'll put it like Ansible playbook that can be run locally and convert any system to Talos Linux. Then generate configuration for Cozystack, and then apply this configuration to the nodes. That sounds really cool. If there anybody in community who would like to prove this concept, we need just simple example how it could work. We can give you virtual machines just to test that. If you do, let me know. All right. Any other topics to discuss?
Concerning your external node, maybe it is not exactly what you say, but I had a use case when maybe for a freelancer or something like that, if you can be able to join your laptop into the Kubernetes as a node, take a laptop home, and then you, for example, this Kubernetes will be somewhere, and then you join from your home this laptop as an external node to the same cluster. Yeah, that's you can be somehow mobile, and
that sounds like edge computing thing. I heard about many stories about people how they do dedicated remote nodes for their Kubernetes clusters. But the question is, why would you do this?
they develop something and they are just moving. Yeah.
All right, got it. There is some solutions for that. It's called telepresence and mirrord. I tried both and I like how they works. Actually, telepresence allows you to establish VPN tunnel to the Kubernetes itself. I think we even have optional module for Cozystack here. And mirrord, it works more interested way. It just captures all the syscalls and just overrides them, just like they would be running in Kubernetes cluster in pod. So this way you can even say that I want to be a pod in this namespace. Then it will run a daemon and capture all the syscalls. So your application running in your local laptop will feel like it is running in Kubernetes cluster. This one don't even require you to have anything installed in the cluster before you start using it.
Can be usable for running microservices environment or as microservices development.
This is more for development stuff.
Yeah, because if you are running many microservices and developing, and you are just developing only one in a time, that means this microservices you are developing, it should be in a development stage, but all others infrastructure should be stable and should be working. And that's it will be nice to have such environment that can be just develop your what are you doing, yeah, on the system. Mirror by default. Okay, that's good one.
Actually, I like telepresence more. It works more stable from my point of view, but mirrord also fine. Telepresence. It works just like VPN. It establishes connection through the Kubernetes API to existing cluster. And you can actually access all the services and pods inside of your cluster through this VPN tunnel. And mirrord is capturing syscalls and sending it there. It can even mount some config maps and secrets, or not exactly mount, but show your application that they are mounted somewhere. That works really interesting way.
I believe that there is a different point of view in that, mirrord, as you mentioned on the site, it is for developers. They want to have part of cluster locally to have fast execution of application which he developed. And here usually you system admins which would like to have centralized cluster sometimes distributed, sometimes not. Sometimes you don't want to distribute the storage or make a mirroring, but have simply sort of satellite nodes. If you have a different concept that you need edge computing, so you would like to have thousands edge nodes, and if they will be managed by and secured by these proven technologies, this is simply like safe haven for people.
Yeah, in case of edge computing, there should be other solutions. Those tools can be used only for developing and sometimes for debugging. For edge computing, I think it's more about how can you deliver the containers to the edge nodes, and in this way, usually kubelet is sufficient for doing this. They don't even need to have local networking. That depends on the use case. But if you have publicly accessible Kubernetes control plane, you can actually join any node from around the world to this control plane.
Yeah, but this is, this is not such a popular case now. You probably will have nodes behind the operator net. So you need sort of Talos Linux tunnel. I forget this name of this tunnel.
Kubeprism, I guess, or kubespan.
What is integrated in Talos Linux, and we need something like that. You have a main cluster, and maybe if you design the payload for the clusters, that it could be really distributed to the edge nodes, and then you can compute this on edge nodes, and that you need a tunnel.
Yeah, that's true, and we need to have some discovery service which will let them to find each other and pass through the net if they behind the net.
Yeah, that's right. That's more realistic case than before. Before we had a lot of real IP addresses, and all endpoints were on real IP addresses, and that was. But it is in history now, I believe.
All right. I was checking how this thing works, and I found that it works really tricky. Actually, Kubernetes cluster don't even know that they have some WireGuard tunnels between the nodes. It just capturing all the traffic using NF tables and throwing it into these WireGuard tunnels transparently for Kubernetes for any CNI plugin. And I like this way because I think it's more universal one. But I get some insight that it might not working well in case if you have more than 10 nodes in your cluster.
Good.
Don't know why. Maybe they solved that already.
That was actually my next question. What is the practice of the how many nodes can be in scalable way in cluster? So because Google is and AWS telling about some hundreds of thousands nodes, but they probably have tuned Kubernetes. And what is public Kubernetes?
From my experience, I had 800 nodes cluster without running without any tuning. And I was this cluster was running using Kubadm, and it was using CleanStore for storing the data. It had so many pods, so usually it was about 20 nodes per node, 20 pods per node. But that was working fine, and I think it could handle 2 times more without tuning. With Cozystack and Talos itself, I have no experience with running such big environments. In Cozystack, it is slightly different. Usually, our users trying to run huge nodes, but the less amount of the nodes because it is cheaper to share the resources between their users. So for now, I have no answer for that, but Kubernetes itself, I think, have some improvements for that. There might be some weak parts like KubeVirt. They have reported that they were running 1,500 nodes with no troubles.
Yeah, I read the news today that latest Pixel phone has 16 gigs of memory. Right, and
Let's
then
join it to Cozystack cluster.
yeah, that's why I thought about edge computing. It's so fine.
Well, I really like how Kubernetes works. And I think in many cases, you can reuse these patterns even in various cases where it's not intended to use. For example, I heard that some Airbus or some airplane company, they're using Kubernetes to control their planes actually.
But
well, not sure.
From other side, you know, my friend which do home automation, and when he showed me how many nodes every switch was sort of IP device, right, and that how many endpoints can be in simple apartment, 3-room apartment, I was shocked. I said every switch, every lamp, every, you know, some additional things, some sensors and so on. It was 100 or hundreds endpoints in one apartment. So right, now it's ESP32 nodes, but it also can be, you know, Raspberry doubleware, and it also can be 100 cluster, 100 node cluster controlling your home and on your.
Was it a single Kubernetes cluster?
No, it was simply like a scale of
just machines, yeah.
Yeah, so now it's ESP32. It's in every Chinese two-year switch, but next time it will be very small.
There were interesting projects about that. It's called Virtual Kubelet. So you can actually join Virtual Kubelet into your Kubernetes cluster, and it will use it as remote machine controlled through the SSH. And in many cases, it might be useful for edge computing as well. So Kubernetes will think that it is running containers, but in fact, Virtual Kubelet will go to the remote machine over SSH and run some commands there.
Yeah, funny thing.
Yeah, there are a lot of funny things. I hope I will have time someday to check all of this. For now, I think we have to finish. Thank you for really warm and cozy discussion, and see you in 2 weeks. I think many people will come back from the vacation.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you.
Have a nice evening.
Bye bye.
Have a nice evening.
Bye bye.
Mark, can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
You are the Mark which we are working in Košice, or?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's you. How is it going? Why you don't? Probably you should at the end present. What are you doing? That's I was not sure whether you are. That's.
I'm sorry. May you repeat the question?
That's. I thought that I didn't notice you that you joined later, but in the future, at the beginning, we usually for the new members usually are introducing. Did you introduce already there in the community?
No, I didn't have a chance. I basically finished my work. I am currently working, and I saw that the link to this meeting was posted, and I decided to join. But all right, if I were to join the next meeting, I will introduce myself.
Yeah, if you will be, because Andrei usually asks at the beginning, so you can introduce it, and it will be nice that's the community knows that some new member, and that's really active, I think. I can recommend. Don't worry. It's just open community. You saw that. You have been first time or you have been already?
It's like the second time. First time I came in for like 5 minutes and left. I couldn't understand, I think. Yeah.
And now everything is working on the Ubuntu.
Well, I can't really say. I'm basically waiting for my bachelor's theme to be in the main. And until that, I don't really want to do anything. We have a working setup already. If
That's nice. You are in Košice?
Yeah. I'm third year of my bachelor's.
Because I will go to the Košice this Saturday for PC club session. Whether we can meet there or
what is it? The PC club session?
Some on the school living where the students live, yeah, or campus.
You mean the dorm, yeah? And
yeah.
Which dorm? Jedlikova
5 or 9, I don't know. Tomasz, there is I think that's big session or international big session, about 100 people, and that's the real problem. I can send you via link some documents.
Yeah, please send me. I might have the time to join.
I don't know whether it's for registered, but I have been invited by Tomasz, but I can ask also whether you can come, because Martin will go there as well. Yeah, so that's probably we can meet all of 3 there if you are there.
Yeah, I am, and that might be a great idea. So please send me the link.
Okay, so thanks. It's nice to meet you at least like this way. And Martin, I hope that he will finalize this process with your thesis. And concerning this environment, which we start on the Ubuntu, maybe this feature to switch from Ubuntu via this utility to Talos can be also the way how Martin can switch from Ubuntu to Talos to running.
Yeah. So now, as we have the first working setup, I'm mainly concerned about what's the actual infrastructure that we have.
What do you do install on the working setup? So you have a visible dashboard on public, or?
So we use the existing Tuki infrastructure, some private Tuki clouds, not an open source solution. Now it's hosted on several Ubuntu VMs, so it's not bare metal.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not open to public. Well, it is open to public if you're in the VPN network.
Okay, and it's running only the basic setup, yeah? There's no application, but it's running there. Or did you try to deliver something from the...
Yeah. I deployed the Postgres and the Redis. They were working just fine. The only thing that I had to do manually is to open the node port for them. They weren't accessible by default.
And did you use some external GUI for controlling the Kubernetes, the freelance, I think it was mentioned? Or you are just using kubectl?
Well, at first I was using just the terminal, but when you and Martin showed me the lens, lens ID, I switched to that, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's basically really an interesting theme. This this DevOps sphere. Because on my job, I mainly do the web development, full stack, and I don't really touch the infrastructure. And the thing that you allow me to play with this setup, it's really valuable for me.
Yeah, because as a developer, I don't know how you are thinking, but for development, you need to be able to at least provide a deployment for Kubernetes. Yeah, and also to set up the infrastructure. So you can set up all necessary services which should be run necessary for your application. That can be database, can be some queue, maybe some flow and A2N and so on. Also, that's probably that will be nice to know how to deploy, yeah? Because many and other thing to thinking how to develop cloud native application. It's another point. Yeah? That means now you are develop something like mostly, or I don't know, but many developers develop application as a monolith, yeah, big monolithic application, and it brings, in case when you need to scale this application, it brings the problem, yeah, because it's stateful. That means you cannot scale application well, yeah. Also, self-healing. That means if something is get broken, Kubernetes can somehow recover it from unwanted state because he's working on the on the declaration of that. So if you provide the deployment into application, the Kubernetes take care about whether all necessary pods is running, and if some fail, it start to try to restart this pod and so on. That even also when your node get down, he try to reschedule the task on other nodes, and that's also you can have an auto scale. That's mean on the peak you can split or swap to produce many pods, and then after the peak you can go down, yeah, back to the normal.
Yeah, those are the valid concerns. In the modern developments, well, for example, in my company, though these tasks are delegated to the separate DevOps team. Like we are mainly writing code. We work with the containers, but it's not the Kubernetes. We use the local setup Docker Compose. If you're familiar with that, that's like the most we touch.
The Docker setup, it's fine for simple solution.
Yeah, it's for local development. In production, we have a DevOps team. We use Kubernetes. It's hosted on AWS. What's the name for EKS? Yeah.
Yeah, EKS.
EKS. So they hosted there.
Yeah, it's nice that you wanted to dive into this. As a developer, many developers doesn't want to go there, but I appreciate because I feel also mostly like a developer, and then I wanted to just touch this area as well, yeah, because I feel that I should be as a developer responsible for application, and the containers is first step to be more independent. You need to provide all, but also splitting tasks or services to maybe microservices can be some other step to provide better solution for application.
Yep, microservices. Yeah, I know they are good, but
it's simple to develop, but harder to deployment. Yeah, but if you manage deployment, you can have a more stable or I don't think so. It's very difficult if you know what to do. Yeah,
no, it's not difficult. I'm talking now about the architecture of the applications. Like if you use the microservices architecture, yeah, it's nice. It can handle more loads, but well, I've already worked in 2 companies, and I didn't really see the use for the microservices architecture. The monoliths do just fine.
Yeah, probably they had probably they didn't have such traffic which can handle such big. I don't want to say that monolith is completely wrong, but it's depend on where you would like to deploy. Okay, you can also deploy one monolithic backend and one simple front end, yeah, as a web services. But did join also the mobile devices and a huge amount of mobile devices on this backend?
No, not really. Well,
yeah, that's if probably it will be traffic for.
Well, if you count like mobile devices as a separate mobile applications, then no. But obviously, the mobile devices can use the front end as well as the PCs, the laptops. Just the same type.
It's just another running environment. Yeah, that's fine.
And even with that, well, I couldn't. I can't remember the exact RPS. Like,
and what was the feature or the way what they are solving with this software?
Well, my current company develops online casino, and my first company developed a service that generated metrics for the ads that some external company would post on, like Google ads, Facebook ads. Just collected the metrics and presented it via like beautiful dashboards, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And you think this was big traffic?
No, not really.
Maybe
big traffic. I think big traffic. Who
define what is big traffic?
Yeah.
For me, if it has to be handled 1,000, 10,000 per minute, yeah, that's going to be big traffic.
1,000 requests per minute?
Or per minute is maybe for 10 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, that's more like it, because 1,000 per minute, it's not it's like middle to nothing.
Yeah, but usually for such small application, you do not have such traffic. But if it will be generated by third systems, for example, collecting data from the sensors, and it's going to be something different.
Well, yeah, maybe there are such system. I'm mainly a web developer. I didn't had a chance to work with some like IoT devices, so I can't really talk.
No, but if you have a MQTT, it just flows the data, and data has to be stored, maybe present, but you will get stuck on the in database, because if sensor goes to the database, and if you will, probably you will be not get stuck or bottleneck, because data is written from MQTT, and web services or web is just reading this data. So, yeah. But if the number of the data can be higher, that's it. But anyway, always database will be the bottleneck.
Yeah. Databases are the bottlenecks.
Okay, I will send you the invitation. Yep. Have a look, and then I plan to be from Saturday at 5 or maybe sooner. I don't know.
Saturday at 5.
So Saturday, 5, or maybe later. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So send me the link, please, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Okay. So have a nice evening then.
Yeah. You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.